this is the reason why the energy minister said a timetable will not be given, because as and when, even by close of day today, we could have the third switch back on. It's 6, right, and two
are functioning.
Have been brought back on stream, giving us 280 megawatts. The third one was being worked on, and so he argued that, look, if we give you a timetable, things might change.
Right.
And so we're working on it, but ECG will provide details as to which areas will be off and which areas will be on, so that you can know what the situation is as well in relation to that. And so we've walked you through a number of the townships. This one as well is
in the Ashanti region. So Domiabra.
So they are going off from 6 a.m. So their power should be off by now
until midnight.
Until midday.
Midday.
Until midday. So they'll have no light until midday. So the towns we are about to mention, if you are listening to us in the Ashanti region,
they are definitely listening to us.
You will not have light from now to 12 p.m.
Domiabra, Apomase, Apiedu, Kokobeng, Donyina, parts of Ejeso, Trabom, Manson Kwanta, Boko, Chidie, is it Chidie or Chidie?
Chidie.
Okay. Fuase, Antwa Chrome, Nineso, Seidi, Adankwame, Edu Jama, Fufuo, Esuofua, Asamain, Inketia, Esaso, parts of Kronum, Techiman, Dichemboso, Oshimase, Hilltop, parts of Esoyeboa, Moshi Zongo, Airport. The airport will go off.
Yeah, airport.
Parts of Pankrano, Ashia, Kuma, Apromoase, Krapa, Bampenase, Edubenso Kese, Swedro, Edubenso Bia, Sewaba, Asabi, Asokori Mampom, parts of affordable housing, Akokwamon, Chichire Krom, Echem, Pakoso, Aprede, Akorem, Edukrum, Dagomba Line, Ofori Krum, Onye, Amakom, Stadium, Krofom, Ampabame, Afrancho, Kantinchiren, GBC, Asafo, Dadie Swaba, Dote, Sepe, Timpong, Yabi, Achiremade, Chichibong, Agrik Inzima, Ebruaso, Kromoase, Asokwa, Konongo, Juaso, Asoche, Achia Krom, Abuakwa, Makrum, Mim, Ejanfo, Nerebehi. Did I got it right? Nerebehi, Infensi, Maase, Adjonase, Tabom, Abuaboga, Esen Wawase, Antoboase, New Nsuta Zongo, Amangwase, Takwa Mankro, Impatase, and Anomanje, parts of Magazine, Siamne, Sawaba, Janase, Abechim, Anyang Kwanta, Dominase, Abono, Obo, Kuwait, Nachia, Sewa, Aprabong, Mamponting, Sewa.
That was Sewa. Yeah.
Is this spelled? Is that how they spell it?
I should think so.
No.
I should
William
think so.
Evans Inkum doesn't spell it that way. Aprabong, Mamponting, Agona Nsuta, Kumewu, Mampong, Efidiase, Breman, Afrancho. Afrancho has appeared too many times. Bokanche, Owabi, Sofoline Complex, Nyanchirena se, Inkawie, Twase, Esukuma, and surrounding areas. It's the surrounding areas part that weakens me.
Surrounding areas means say
stray bullet.
If you are in the fringes of any town mentioned,
stray bullet, you are off. We will show you. We'll show you how you go off.
Then there's a western region as well. These towns will go off between 6 a.m. to 12 p.m. Diabene, Nkrofo, Kansarodo, Intakofo, Mount Zion, Racecourse, Hwindo, Nchaban,
yeah.
Nyankrom.
This is the central region.
No, this is this is western region.
Nchaban, yeah.
Nchaban.
I remember Nchaban.
Nyankrom, Shama, Aboase,
Abuesi,
Abuesi,
Disco, Buswa,
Buzo.
Mpanyasa.
Is it Buzwa or Buswa?
Buswa or Buzwa?
Buzwa. I think I know it as Buzwa.
Okay.
You know the Fantis have the Z.
Yeah,
bit
yeah. This
in
is
there.
not Fanti. If it's the Western region, then it's going towards Nzima.
Nzima.
And you name Prestia Township, there so New Obuasi, Ntom, Agona Port, and Kwaso, Bechima, Asafo, and surrounding areas. Surrounding areas for the
So they don't have a lot of towns, but from 6 a.m. to 12 p.m. And we'll get. So how many regions did we do? 4 regions, right?
We've done Ashanti, we've done Greater Accra, we've done Eastern region, we've done Western region.
Yeah, so 4 regions.
Yeah,
so 4 regions. Some have had their power should have been restored, but it's not been.
Yeah.
Phil mentions Domi Pilatu. When we went through the list, he says his power is out still.
Yeah.
Domi Pilatu was not in the.
It's part of surrounding areas.
No, but even surrounding areas, the power is to be back by 6 a.m.
Yeah, but Phil has to understand that this area is part of the surrounding areas.
Okay, yes. I think it falls in surrounding areas because if you look at
Ofanko, surrounding areas,
you fall in the category of surrounding
areas. You Ofanko, Amasama, Fise, surrounding areas.
Yeah. No, bring us Greater Accra region again. Bring us
Greater Accra region. Greater Accra is surrounding areas.
Yeah.
No,
Greater Accra will have you.
Yeah.
Only that I agree. So you shouldn't have had light in the middle of the night. Only that I believe your power should be on by now.
Yeah.
You said you checked and it wasn't.
So look at Phil lives at what?
Domi Pilatu. Domi Pilatu will fall within.
Domi Pilatu will come towards Asofang, yes. Ofanko.
Pokwasi interchange.
Yes, around that area.
Part of Ofanko.
Yeah. So Asofang. Amen. Parts of Ofanko, Pokwasi interchange, Eja Herbal in Sawam Township, so and surrounding areas.
Do you agree? You fall within the category. Oh no! Once they mention,
part of Ofanko came twice. Part of Ofanko.
Yes.
No. So it means that on your left side and your right side, you have.
So you're on the same line, and so when they take it out, they'll take you out too.
Part of Ofanko came first after Amen, and then part of Ofanko came after John Tay SHS. Part of
John
Ofanko.
Tay.
Yes.
John Tay is along that.
Yes. So
Achimota stretch.
Part of
and so
surrounding
most definitely
areas.
explains why you may not have had power as at the dead of the night.
Big shouts to all the surrounding area guys.
For them as well.
Your name is not on the list, but small light.
We have light, but that notice actually captures you in
part
terms
of Ofanko.
Because Ofanko is mentioned twice, and there's John Tay.
Canada
City.
Even Canada is not spared.
Kuwait, we saw Kuwait also.
Even Canada is not spared, Charlie.
So yeah, that's a situation.
No, ECG they do all.
That's a situation in terms of power. We'll get into it proper. Let me see if a number of you as well have shared thoughts with us via Facebook as to what you make of the situation, and if you're satisfied with the responses we got from the minister yesterday.
Oh, Charlie, somebody says Atoke Skyman Airbender Lama says I should stop renaming Kumasi towns. Okay, I'm sorry. It says I'm Atasa. Okay, no problem. Johnny, please let AI mention the names. Kumasi guys are not happy with you. Okay, I agree. I'm sorry. I apologize.
He says you should do it.
I said I'm renaming Kumasi towns the way I'm mentioning the names. I'm sorry. I apologize. But there's one message from Aaron,
which is what we're
yes,
about to get into
that's right.
as well. That following the distressing reports of the heavy shootout in Binduri, it's a firm wake-up call to the youth within the enclave and surrounding districts. The preservation of our future depends on the peace we maintain. I strongly urge all young people to resist the urge to participate in any form of armed conflict or gun battle. Engaging in violence only leads to the loss of precious lives and the destruction of the progress we have worked hard to build. Aaron Babako Kokomisa.
Aaron Babako Kokomisa from Latebiokosh.
Yeah,
one of our longest standing listeners back in the day. Hey, Aaron, how are you doing?
He sends that.
I remember Aaron. He used to be a regular caller.
Yeah.
I miss our callers though. Abolo, Common Sense.
Yeah.
Papa Bisu, Urea, Eben Kwabenya, Haja the Freedom Fighter.
Yeah.
Abu Ikokomlemle.
Baba
Ajana One. Hey, I've forgotten the name.
A number of them.
Seshak, and then Ninungwa. I remember as well. Then the Ajimi Victor. Hey, Charlie, I've forgotten some of their names, so forgive me. But I mean, yesterday I saw a message on one of the posts suggesting that the youth feel that the military and the police are failing them, so they want to take things into their own hands. I don't think that's a wise thing to do, because you may end up killing yourselves. And I've always made that passionate appeal to the people who live in those areas, especially the Boku, Binduri, all those areas, that you spend time. I've had opportunity to travel up north a couple of times in recent time, just this weekend. You find vast land, right? It's vast. You look at the farmlands that they have and you see what people have planted. You take a walk and you feel the scorchy sand. The dust is biting. It's right in your face. It's quite uncomfortable, sometimes very humid, and very unsettling for you. How does anybody on earth go through all of those processes just to harvest the produce, whether they be groundnut or maize or rice or whatever it is, then gather the money to go and buy firearms, military grade weapons to fight a long-standing battle that they do not know the origin for? It just doesn't make sense to me. What happened to using that same money to expand your farm so that you are creating? In Accra and in Kumasi, in Takoradi, in all those cities that we talk about, when people start businesses and the business starts thriving and things start coming into the business, they make it a point to make sure that they are expanding the business, they are scaling up, they are employing more people. Why can it not be the same? This is a lone shooter who attacked the vehicle with military escort without provocation, and life has been lost. And does that settle the whatever qualms that this individual or whoever sponsored him or whoever is associated with him had with the system? It doesn't. And increasingly, people are losing their lives. I went to the funeral I told you in Sandema, and I met a gentleman who said that he is a nurse, a health worker, who is currently at Boku. Spirited, energized. I took a photo with him. He took a selfie with me, blah, blah, blah. But I was just thinking that what if he's caught up in a stray bullet? This is a nurse. What if? So we have to look at a way to stop this. And I dare say that people are profiteering from this. Marina, the last time we checked, in the last administration, we were told how much it costs to maintain the military there. Feeding, accommodation, weapons, ammo. Look, it's a whole lot.
Yeah.
And we know how the continued conflict is affecting economic life in those places. So can we just not... I'm struggling too hard to understand why this has festered for too long, and we will take a detachment of military people there and go and put them there 6 months, 1 year, and then we'll swap and then we'll bring another set. What's going on? Can't we use that money for something else? And can't we call the leaders of the factions and bring them to book? Sometimes it's good to cut the head of the snake so that the snake, you know that the snake is truly dead. The people behind this who are doing all manner of heinous activities just to end the lives of many, and they are fighting, as I said, they are fighting a battle or a war that they don't even know what the origin of the war is. That's the painful part. They are fighting a war which origin they do not know. That's the painful part. And you look at the lands and you look at what could actually be done there. Look, if I have money and I'm an investor and I come into the country and I do the feasibility study, I see I can put up a factory here, I can grow whatever it is that will feed the factory, and the factory can run and it can create jobs, I will do it. But I will not do it in a war-torn area because my investment then will be stagnated. I will not get money.
Nobody. In fact,
nobody will come to me.
That's like one of the basic things in terms of analysis any business does when they are entering a new environment. Politics. What's the political situation there?
Yeah.
Conflict. Conflict is the biggest disincentive.
They call it in marketing pestle. Yeah.
That's the biggest disincentive for any investor to want to go anywhere. And the evidence is even in our faces right now. Small
political, economic, social, technological, legal, it's there.
Environmental.
It's there.
And I recall about a month or so ago, the member of parliament for the area was there, and there was a festival which he was at, and he addressed the people and said a lot more of such development. I think there was cutting sword for something, a project, and was telling the people that more of these will come. He's a leader of government business in parliament.
Right.
And if for nothing at all, we know that leaders in parliament or have the ear of development agent in terms of the roads minister and other persons to cater for their constituency. Yet he cannot have those specs because the contractors who will go there and improve
they don't want
the
to go
town
there.
roads
They don't want to go.
will have their lives under threat if they were to go. And so they cannot go. And so the small development his office as majority leader will come with even, he's not going to get it.
Yeah.
And he was appealing to the people. This was about a month ago. He was appealing to the people that, look, this piece you've afforded, give it a chance because more of the development will come.
I saw a video somewhere, I think about a year or maybe a year and a half ago, where somebody says if he's a man, he should come to the town. He can't even come to his own constituency, own home. That's like, look. And the strange thing, Mawena, before that though, we're live on Kesmi FM 107.1 in Tamale. Alaji Kesmi, good morning to you. Kesmi FM is one of the biggest, if not the biggest, in the Tamale and surrounding areas. That's the new cliche now, right? Tamale and surrounding areas. Now, we talk about the Bawku conflict every now and then. And it gives us a bad impression of what, like people down south say, Northerners are not. You get the point. There's trouble, let's say, in Bawku, and then we lump the whole region together and said they are fighting in the north. We do that. But in Accra, if something is happening at Adabraka, we zero in and say something is happening at Adabraka. We don't say something is happening in Accra. That's one. Number two, how do the people of Bawku vote during elections? They voted in 2024, no? That's how come Mahama Yariga is the MP, no? They voted. How did the ballot boxes get to them? How did they come out peacefully to come and vote? How was there no violence on election day? And if we're able to do that, and even to elect assemblymen, unit committee members, what have you, can we not use the same template to ensure that there's continued peace in Bawku? Because there are banks there, there are SNIT officials there, there are nurses, there are doctors, there are teachers, there are lawyers, there are judges, there are all manner of professions in Bawku who expect that there will be peace and tranquility so they can go about their duties peacefully. Why? Why must it always be Boko in the news for? And what are they even fighting over? What are they fighting over? And what will the fight bring? Since they started fighting, what has the fight brought to them? There are other communities in this country that are benefiting from factories, blah, blah. Go to the Kpong area. B5 and all those factories are springing up, creating employment. People are happy to be around those places. The place is expanding and people are happy. So why must it always be people fighting? Fighting for what? Fighting over what and for what? You are fighting over what while your people keep being impoverished? You are fighting over what? What kind of stupid masculinity is that? What are you showing? What are you demonstrating? What are you fighting over?
And so 3 people, civilians, lost their lives. So let's see those numbers. 1 other was injured. And for the assailants who
were killed,
were undertaking the attack, the military returned fire and killed 7 and rounded up 10, per the statement from the Ghana Armed Forces yesterday. The escort convoy was attacked in the morning yesterday. The convoy was protecting 14 civilians traveling from Boko to Bolgatanga. The convoy was shot at several times by unknown element at Binduri. 3 civilians were killed and 1 injured in the attack. 7 assailants were killed in the exchange of the fire. 10 other suspects were arrested and are assisting with investigations. I think it must not end here. 1 escapee tracked to a mosque. Weapons were retrieved. 1 G3 automatic rifle.
G3 and G3 is military grade.
Yes.
G3 is not supposed to be in the hands of civilians.
How are you getting G3 rifles?
It's not so. How did they get it? I think the military has to. So far, I think it's only the military that uses G3 rifles in this country.
How did they get
So
it? How
the
is it
military
coming into the country?
The military needs to do some self-introspection. We sit in a volatile area. All the countries around us have had their fair share of their turmoil, right? You go to Togo, they have had their fair share. You go to Burkina Faso, they have had their fair share. You go to Ivory Coast, they have had their fair share. Even if you spread it further, Niger and all those places, they have had it. We seem to be the calm water in the storm, right? And so if we are now getting these things being brought into the country or being handed over to people or for however it was done, the military needs to do some self-introspection to tell us that there's G3, yes, but how many more G3s are there? How many more M16s are there? How many more Kalashnikovs are there? These are questions that we must ask. 176 rounds of additional ammunition. 2 magazines, 20 rounds each. 4 ready for action. And these guys are, look, the people in the vehicle, there were over 140 people in the vehicle, had not done anything to any of these assailants.
Just open fire.
Just open fire and kill. And kill. Who are you even killing? Who are you killing? Who are you killing? Who?
And the mention of these ammunitions, I recall the former defense minister, the Lord bless his soul wherever he is, told us ammunitions at depots or in the storehouse went missing.
The armory, you mean?
In the armory, yes, thank you very much. And questions were asked as to investigations and what was to happen in relation to that. We're finding military-grade weapon and ammunition
G3
in the hands of feuding factions or assailants. I don't even want to say feuding factions. Some unknown, unscrupulous persons. Where did we get to on that investigation and a tracking of where those went? Otherwise, anybody can sit here today and say, could these be a part of what went missing? It's a question that can be asked. Also, a question can be asked as to how these weapons are ending up in the hands of these individuals.
So, AK-47 will go about 400 meters, right? Created for close range combat. The G3 is considered a main battle rifle capable of first round kills at 600 meters.
Further than an AK.
Further than AK. And created for mountainous forest battle and desert plain battle.
So it goes through trees and will still hit the target.
And that's the gun we are playing with now. That is what we are trying to play Juloke Police with. We ought to be very careful. Oh. The people behind this Boko conflict must be brought to book ASAP. If there are chiefs, there are whoever, bring them to the center and deal with them. Bring them to the center and deal with them. Because they have cost us too much. Look, money, we are spending money that we don't have just to make sure that there is peace somewhere, because some 2 people or some 3 people are sitting on high horses and they are causing all of us discomfort and pain. When I went to Boga, I went to Sandema, I could have just picked another vehicle and gone towards Boku just to go and see how the place is and enjoy. I couldn't risk it. This vehicle was coming from Boku to Boga, where I was. Boku to Boga. I mean, Abba.
We've been joined via the phone lines by Richard Kumado, as fraud and security consultant. Mr. Kumado, good morning to you. I trust that all is well.
Thank you.
Your initial thoughts as to what may have transpired, what appears to be a lack of fear on the part of these assailants, knowing very well the military was escorting this convoy and opened fire nonetheless.
So there were 2 things involved. Number one, for a very long time, Boko has been very calm. Issues of insecurity has been destabilized. Threat issues that come into the public space has been curtailed. What the offenders have done is that they are looking for loopholes within security management operations in order to return Boko back to the days of daily public insecurity. From the actions of the military or the frontline security officers, in non-conformity, I can see that they want to contend with the offenders so they don't return Boko back into the days of daily insecurity. If the security officers are confident and they are able to do that, then the assailants will go back into hiding. If they are not, then the assailants will contend with them and return Boko back to the days of insecurity. And that is where those who benefit from the Boko conflict will be back in business. And if we do the otherwise, then they will remain silent for a very long time.
Now, considering what we've seen and what was swift responses as well from the military, persons arrested, some traced to a mosque, weapons and some others retrieved, how soon would you expect that all of this will come to a head in being able to identify persons behind this attack?
The national strategy for the Boko conflict will have to be changed. There has to be a review mechanism where when people commit crimes, they are dealt with in accordance with law. You are talking about sophisticated weapons in the hands of illegitimate people or non-combatants. And to the extent that these guys are acting as combatants in the field, you brought in a national strategy that says that treat them with peace growth. You don't do that in any part of the world. You will create problems. And that is why you are not achieving the security results you needed to achieve in Boko within the shortest possible time. Mauna, I can tell you, I had a conversation between you and Johnny before you put me on. We are creating a psychological problem for the soldiers in particular in the front line. These are soldiers who have been trained and they are well equipped to do their job and to get a job done. They are way of getting the job done when you put them in the front line where civilians are acting as combatants. They will deal with it appropriately in line with their standard procedures. But you brought in a political governance strategy that says that even when you get closer to these guys, don't touch them. And even when you arrest them, nothing happens to them. You are creating a scenario where non-punishable of offenses will always rationalize bad behavior and promote antisocial tendencies in society. And that is what we are seeing. So we keep playing hide and seek. Oh, Julo, then we go and come and they go. Once you create psychological problem for the soldiers, they'll fold their arms and pretend as if they are working, and they will not, because their base will be protected, and everybody within that corridor will be protected, including their friends and cronies in town. And so the civilian is left to be affected. And that is the situation we are creating for ourselves in Bako. And it's unfortunate as it is.
If military convoys are no longer safe as well, then really, what is the solution for all these individuals who have businesses and who have the need to move in and out of the town? Because now the convoys are coming under attack.
They didn't go for the military convoy in that regard. They targeted a soft crime spot. When it comes to crime, where shooting is involved or armed robbery is involved, what the offenders do is that they look for the soft spot. The military vehicles and the military officers become the hard targets for them. So to the extent that they are testing the waters, they went for the soft spot and they targeted the civilian car. Somebody knew which cars were moving and which ones contain civilians. Probably, we need to revise the strategy where some of these movements will have to be a bit more restricted. But to the extent that Bako has enjoyed some level of freedom and peace, the military would have watered down the protective cover and allow people to move in that stretch without they being in those vehicles. This also means that the levels of activities and communication and movement between Bolga or even Tamale to Bolga to Bako will have to be reassessed. And once that is done and the military have the report in their hands, I believe they will adjust and they will make amendments as quickly as possible. Other than that, I have always insisted, there's no militia operating in this country that can withstand the combined forces of the Ghana Armed Forces. They will take them out early in the morning, and by lunchtime, there will be no breakfast for them. Unless we change the strategy, this is our reality, and we have to deal with it.
Right, Mr. Kumado, the other part of this that is of curious interest is the sort of ammunition these assailants had. A G3 automatic rifle, 2 filled magazines, 20 rounds each, 176 rounds of additional ammunition, amongst others. It's not the first time we're having to talk about proliferation of weapons, but to have military-grade weapons in the hands of persons like this, we always come back to the point that it's a cause for concern, but this is a bigger cause for concern to have military-grade weapons in the hands of persons who are moving through and from forests and opening fire on unarmed civilians.
That is what I wish the military should not be taking you and Johnny and Nenokansi or Roland to the front lines and put you in a uniform and equip you to withstand many of the shocks we are talking about. So when I use the word non-combatants acting as combatants, this is what I'm talking about. And if you go back into recent history, this is what has led to the uprising and the revelations and the coup d'etat in some of the countries up north, where you have soldiers going to the front lines and they are being confronted with civilians with the kind of weapons we are talking about, and somebody sees somewhere, give an instruction and say, don't touch them. These are soldiers trained. Mawina, soldiers have psychological issues when they are confronted with these issues and you hold their hands back. They will lay down their arms quietly without letting you know. And that is the major danger, not the guns in the hands of these people, but to the extent that you are not allowing your soldiers or your frontline first responders to deal with it in a manner that is appropriate and in line with law, you have broken the mechanism for law enforcement. And what they will do is to make adjustments and be playing with artificial intelligence along the way, and you will not get the results. Other than that, the soldiers on the ground, knowing who they are, and with the levels of intensity they can come under, and the intelligence officers on the ground, knowing what they know, I think we are not dealing with the issues. goes back to what I have been saying for all these years. This is a crime. People are behind it. It's a business. They benefit from conflict, and they will provide all logistics, including the weapons we are talking about, to these guys in order to cause mayhem and create confusion. And somebody benefits from it, and the majority of the country will be in that.
Now, that's the part about soldiers and welfare and the concern that could come up. On our part in being able to mop up on these arms getting into the wrong hands, it appears we haven't been able to achieve quite enough. We had gun amnesty at some point in time, either this year or late last year. We heard that a number of people had surrendered their weapons. But obviously, I don't know what the plan was for areas like Bawku and its surrounding areas where we're seeing military-grade weapons still in the hands of armed individuals.
Now, I think the amnesty program, the way it was structured, was a bit problematic from the beginning. They came back strongly, and they put themselves together and did what they can do within the space. There are difficulties. If you remember, when Asante Yini finished the mediation report and submitted it, one of the lines he used was that if they give him opportunity, he will buy the guns off the hands of these guys. We need to find out what has happened to the reconciliation processes at the Meshia and find out whether resources have been made available for him to use the traditional means in getting the hands from the guns of the hands of these guys. Then there has to be a reason why they have to give out their guns. Then there has to be another reason why the guns get into their hands in the first place. Until we are able to configure all these and create a convergence criteria, we might be doing too many things at wrong positions and at wrong points, and we will be getting the results needed.
And so you would expect some action in terms of a return there by the Small Arms Commission to try and get these weapons.
I think the mediation team will work. If the small arms get involved, that would be great. But you have military officers, the BNI officers, and the police on the ground. That is their area. Give them the resources. Tell them what to do. Don't go politically interfere. Leave the space for them and let them deal with the issue. They are professionals who know what to do and know exactly how to do it. They will clean it up for you within 3 weeks, hand it over to you and say, politicians, we have cleaned it up. Do what you want to do with it. Until you are able to do that and you keep playing hide and seek, believing that one day God will come from heaven or our ancestors will come and help us, you wouldn't get the results. And we have played lip service with this Bawku issue. People commit crime, they shoot people and kill them. The perpetrators have been let go. The offenders have not been prosecuted. And it keeps coming back to us in the same manner and form as we anticipated.
I've heard you mention the need for the strategy there to change. But in the interim, fears of possible reprisals and what have you, what will be your expectation in the next few days in ensuring we do not see reprisals in that manner or form?
So one might be a reprisal from the families or from the group whose people have been attacked. And number two, you should also not be surprised to see the military offensive within the communities. Then number three, they will reassess the road movement from Tamale to Boga to Bawku, particularly within the Bundiri area there. And whatever happens, it will just create some level of discomfort for road users. Other than that, these are the three likely scenarios. If the military are able to water down the space and the politicians come in to water down the space, then the families whose people have become the victims, they may not retaliate. Other than that, they may also possess the capacity to retaliate, and the military will be in the middle, and they will say, stop it, don't do it. And they will do it at the blind side, and they will go back and clean it up. They will go back and these other guys will do it. And their determination to return Bawku back to the previous status where crime becomes the daily bread of the people and people benefit. That is the strategy of the offenders. They are just testing the pulse. If you give them the space, they will run with it. It is my hope and prayer that they will not give them the space so that they could curtail it as quickly as possible.
Right then, Mr. Kumado, I appreciate you and the thoughts that you shared with us this morning. That's Richard Kumado speaking to us about the Bawku situation. He argues that, look, the strategy ought to change. It's been the same for quite a while. Even for gun amnesty, he believes that, look, that course of action could have been implemented better to ensure that we get a bit more in terms of these military-grade weapons out of the hands of persons. But most certainly, a subject matter of concern across the board for a lot of people.
I know that the institution that Adam Bona leads, the Small Arms and Light Weapons Commission, they gave some amnesty, for people to return weapons that they had in their possession without authorization. Clearly, I'm not sure that anybody will. The Minister of Interior will authorize anybody to own a G3 rifle and with that much ammunition. So if the threshold is expired or the threshold is closed, I will urge Adam Bona and his team to zoom into action and start bringing people to book. And once they start bringing people to book, I'm sure that it will serve as a deterrence to many others to stop, misbehaving, because clearly this is misbehavior. And, Mr. Kumado said one thing that struck me. He indicated that we have not been too alert on the job. Even though we are trying to make efforts, we have not been too alert on the job. And that could possibly be giving them this, opportunity to misbehave. What happened to intelligence gathering? Because this guy came out of nowhere, right? Out of nowhere, and decided to get into a gun battle with the police, with the military. Now, it is for good reason that we are not using the police, but we're using the military. Even though the police, I believe, has all the units that is able to take care of this, but we're using the military. And the military's rule is different from what the police rule is. Their structure is totally different from what the police structure is. Now, if people can be so brazen enough to want to attack a military escort vehicle and the civilian vehicle that they were escorting, it tells you that people have gotten to a certain height where they can't be bothered anymore and they can do whatever they please, knowing that very little will happen to them. That's why the 10 people who have been arrested must be properly investigated and drill them and put them in there.
Details from them. Who is behind
deal
all
with
of
them.
this?
Deal with them like per the law, the harshest of them all. Deal with them. When that signal gets to the people, they will learn from it. But we keep treating them with kids' gloves. I'm sure that somebody somewhere will come up with a human rights conversation hogwash. Somebody will come up with that human rights conversation. Somebody will come up and say that, we should hasten slowly. There's always one person who comes up to talk those kind of talks. But nobody thinks about the people who have died. Nobody thinks about the soldiers who could have died. Nobody thinks about the soldiers who were being shot at. Nobody really thinks about it. You will find somebody who will come and talk about human rights. I'm on radio. The guy in me doesn't want to come out.
No more. Beshi.
Bedeshan
is here. We're getting into sports. Champions League football to look forward to. So is GPL, or we're not back yet?
No, we're not back with the GPL yet, but it's Champions League we are looking forward to. Today is Bayern Munich versus PSG. Tomorrow will be Arsenal,
the mighty Arsenal
versus Atletico Madrid. But today we'll be watching for Arsenal's potential finalists, whether it's PSG, whether it's Bayern Munich.
Absolutely, I love the confidence with which you speak.
Of course.
I love the confidence. I love it.
Potential finalists.
Charlie, I've seen this excitement before. The person got scored. The team got
beats
scored.
them.
They
Yeah.
beat them. Basa. I've seen some before.
I've been warned not to say what I say regularly.
No.
Arsenal.
Don't
So,
say it. Don't say it. Don't say it.
go on
Even Bill is not happy about it.
McCaffrey.
McCaffrey, Manjo.
Who is doing the listening?
Yes.
Go the Gunners.
His support.
Go. It's a strong Arsenal fan. So this one I'll say, go the Gunners.
When I went to UK, I went to Woolwich Arsenal, and they had the Arsenal joint was there. I mean, Charlie, they had their own, pub and lounge.
Yeah.
Charlie, was nice. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. Yeah.
Lovely.
I wish Accra, Hearts of Oak, and Kumasi Asante Kotoko had something like that. Charlie. But
we used to be big.
yeah, then what happened?
Look, we used to be big.
What happened?
I always remember the story. I think it was it the Comfort Cup where Hearts beat Kotoko,
Yeah.
right? And I recall I was in Ardenta Estates at the time, and on radio, everybody was glued to their radio set.
That's right.
And Hearts took that lead. And I recall the screams of goal, like Black Stars was playing football.
Yeah. No,
And
Hearts is a
so-
great team.
And so I try to reconcile as a young boy. I mean, I've always loved football. Who was hearing commentary like that? People glued to their radio set,
Right.
and now that love for the local
It's
game
all
is
gone.
completely gone.
It's gone. I think that we started dwindling when May 9 happened.
Yeah,
May 9, people were not too excited about the 10 of events.
Yeah.
And it does appear that we really haven't learned any serious lessons from May 9. And that's the painful part, because if we're really bothered and really concerned about, keeping things the way they're supposed to be, we won't be repeating some of the mistakes that, we saw back then. But Charlie, it is what it is.
Absolutely. Bill will do sports for us, after which we'll return with a bit more. The Doomsaw conversation which Phil wants to have. We'll get a bit more perspective into it if you stay with us here on the 3FM Sunrise.
Hello, good morning, and welcome to the sports segment here on Sunrise on 3FM 92.7. My name is Bill Ishen. Let's start off from the domestic front because FC Ashanti Gold 04 have been promoted to the Ghana Premier League after defeating Sky FC 4-1 over the weekend. Ashanti Gold 04, who were formerly Bekwai Heroes, have no relation to the former Ashanti Gold SC. The following 3 Sports report provides clarity on the situation. FC Ashanti Gold 04 have secured a place in the Ghana Premier League for the first time in their history after they defeated Sky FC 4-1 in the Division 1 Zone 2 game. And as I mentioned, it's their first time going to play in the Ghana Premier League. But a lot of confusion has been coming up in social media because Ashanti Gold 04's colours and the logo looks very similar to that of Ashanti Gold SC. Now, here's some background. First off, Ashanti Gold 04 is not in any way related to Ashanti Gold SC. Now, Ashanti Gold SC, a team that has won 4 Ghana Premier League titles in the past, have been indefinitely suspended from any GFA-related activities. That was confirmed at a Congress at KNUST back in 2023 around July. Now, in 2024, around August, fans of Ashanti Gold SC actually came to Pram Pram before Congress has started to plead with the GFA to reverse that decision of suspending Ashanti Gold SC forever. That has still not happened. The GFA has not reversed the suspension. Why have they even suspended them in the first place? Now, Ashanti Gold SC was first demoted to the Division 2 League after some allegations of match manipulation investigation was made, and they were found to be guilty, with some members of the club found to be guilty. And so they were demoted to Division 2. But they were still engaging with part of the leadership of the club. I'm talking about Kweku Frimpong and also Emmanuel Frimpong, who are part of the leadership of Ashanti Gold SC. And so the GFA deemed it fit to actually suspend them automatically and for a very long period where they've not even decided if they are going to lift that suspension or not. And so as it stands, Ashanti Gold SC does not exist. Now, Essence Energy, which happens to be the owners of Bekwai Heroes decided to rebrand from Bekwai Heroes back in middle 2025 to Ashanti Gold 04. And so that rebranding was done through the GFA. It was approved, and then that was done. And then for the 2025-26 season, Bekwai Heroes, now Ashanti Gold 04, managed to beat a lot of clubs to actually secure a place in the Ghana Premier League. But they still play at the Langley Sports Stadium, which was the home of Ashanti Gold SC. They've adopted the name, they've adopted a lot of the colors, which are very similar. And so people definitely will confuse the two. But Ashanti Gold 04 is a totally different club, a club that has not played in the Ghana Premier League before. And so we'll be seeing them in the Ghana Premier League for the first time next season alongside Port City, and then one of DBB United and Tamale City in the Ghana Premier League for next season. So as it stands, there's Ashanti Gold 04, practically new, playing in the Ghana Premier League for the first time, and Ashanti Gold SC, the traditional club, have been indefinitely suspended, and as of now, they no longer exist. So that was an explainer on the difference between Ashanti Gold 04 and Ashanti Gold SC. Let's do some more. Former Al Ahly coach Picho Mosimane has opened up on how close he came to becoming head coach of Ghana's national team, clarifying that early contact never progressed into a formal proposal before the job was ultimately handed to another candidate. The experienced South African tactician, who recently parted ways with Iranian club Esteghlal FC, explained that discussions around the Ghana role were exploratory rather than decisive, with no binding steps taken by either side.
I guess there was a little bit of a talk. When I asked the office said there's a talk. Yeah, but there was never, you know what is concrete, Rob? Concrete is when the letter came to say, would like to have you, and can we have a conversation over this? A call from a Ghana official, for me, is not a really serious talk. And also the other thing is, do I really want to go for 2 months for one game, 3 games, 4 games? No, maybe I don't want 3 games, 4 games, right? Because for whatever reason. And yeah, maybe Carlos says, why not? Let me go have fun. Let me go to the World Cup again.
That was Picho Mosimane speaking there. Now, former Black Stars player Albert Adoma has weighed in on the ongoing debates surrounding the inclusion of dual national players in the national team. Having represented Ghana at several major tournaments, he believes that any player who meets the required standards is committed to the team deserves an opportunity to play for the Black Stars.
I mean, for me, it's not difficult. If the player is available and he wants to come, it shouldn't be a problem. I understand maybe, yes, they haven't played qualifiers and they're coming straight to the World Cup, then that's a different topic. But if they're Ghanaian, you have to welcome them, you know, and that's how I see this topic, because you want your best players to be there. But I understand the frustration of people, especially when you're a player, and then someone just comes in and take your players, then you will be devastated. You know, I understand that from a player's point of view, but if the technical staff members think, look, these are the players that maybe might get us to the semi-finals or final, then they should be welcome. Every player that's Ghanaian, it doesn't matter if you play in Europe or wherever you play, if you're good enough and they think that you are the best player for that team, they should be called up on. Unless, obviously, like I said, they haven't been part of their qualifying, then that's a different subject. You know, so that's my take on it. Everyone should be welcome.
That was Albert Adoma speaking now. Let's do some more in athletics, where Kenya's Sebastian Saul has become the first person in history to run a marathon in less than 2 hours in race conditions. The runner crossed the line to win the London Marathon in 1 hour, 59 minutes and 30 seconds, beating the official world record by more than a minute. Here's the Kenyan speaking after the historic milestone.
I think it's something special to me right now. Feeling so excited being there among the top, at least of the world, is something not easy, but it's a great achievement to me.
A great achievement to Sebastian Sow. Let's head to Europe because the semi-finals of this season's Champions League will get underway today. The first class sees defending champions Paris Saint-Germain take on Bayern Munich at the Parc des Princes. Ahead of the game, former Bayern Munich defender and 2001 Champions League winner Samuel Osei-Kuffour believes this could be Bayern's year to lift their first title since 2020, although he acknowledges the significant threats posed by PSG.
I think this is our year. You see, Champions League have become so critical, so difficult, that when you get to the last four, everything is possible. And the game against Paris, I will not sit here that we're going to have it on a silver platter. No, they are a good side. They won it last season. We beat them this season. So these two games is going to define how strong Bayern Munich is, mentality. We did it against Real Madrid.
That was Samuel Osei-Kuffour speaking. In the Premier League, Manchester United moved within touching distance of qualifying for the Champions League as Casemiro and Benjamin Sesko stealed a 2-1 win against Brentford on Monday. Casemiro put United ahead in the early stages at Old Trafford and Sesko doubled the lead before the interval. Matthias Jensen's late strike couldn't stop United from cementing their grip on third place on the table. They are 11 points clear of 6th place Brighton, with the top 5 guaranteed to reach the next season's Champions League. Michael Carrick's side need just 2 points from their last 4 matches to ensure their return to Europe's elite club competition for the first time since 2023-24.
It was quite an open game at times actually, and I thought we started fantastically well, as good as we started for a good spell, 20-25 minutes, and should have been at least another goal up, maybe more. But credit to them, they're a good team. We knew they were a good team. They've got a really good mix of threats in different ways, and they came into the game a little bit, and we're in a good place at half time, but we just thought we were getting a little bit too open really at certain times, so we just tweaked things second half, and for the most part had a bit decent control at the second half, and then towards the end few opportunities and how to defend the box. But I thought the spirit, the effort and the togetherness of the players was fantastic. We could have scored more, but listen, it's the time of year, it's a results business, and we needed to take the points, and we've had a fantastic 2 games on the back of the Leeds defeat.
That was Michael Carrick speaking. Still on the Premier League, Coventry City manager Frank Lampard has highlighted the significance of the club's return to the top flight after more than 2 decades away. Speaking to Sky Sports following their promotion, the former Chelsea FC boss said his side is excited about the challenge ahead and determined to make a strong impression.
25 years out of the Premier League or the top tier. It's a club that deserves to be there because of the size of it, the fan base of it, the history of it. And these boys this season, they've gone and played in this league, which I think is the most challenging league to get out of. Everybody says that. And they perform with such consistency and such a quality. And we saw glimpses of it today. That wasn't us at our absolute best. But it was a really deserving and good way to finish it off. And I'm just delighted for what it means to so many people.
That was Frank Lampard speaking. Now to our final story, the ATP Masters 1000 Madrid round of 16 is set to take place this morning. The last 16 features a mix of dominant favourites and potential value spots. Now Thomas Martin could keep things competitive against an informed but possibly fatigued Atafils, while Yannick Sinner's incredible winning streak makes him a strong favourite against Cameron Norrie. Meanwhile, Lorenzo Mussetti's clear-cut quality gives him the edge in a balanced clash against Yuri Leheska, while Alexander Zverev will battle it out against Jakub Mensik. That brings an end to sports here on Sunrise on 3FM 92.7. My name is Bill Ishen. We'll see you same time tomorrow with more updates from the Champions League. But until then, have a great morning.